What's up, guys? Adampark here, and today we are going to continue our discussion. We're going to continue our series on leadership traits. Now, specifically, we are looking at the leadership traits that the Marine Corps defines as things that you as a leader should be working on, that you as a leader should be developing, that you as a leader should be ensuring that those around you, your peers, your raid leader, your fellow officers, or even your guild leader is developing, maintaining, etc. And these are things that you as maybe a potential leader, let's say you want to become a raid leader or you want to form your own guild, that these are things that you want to have developed and be working towards before you step into a leadership role. Today, with all that being said, we are going to look at initiative. So first and foremost, what is initiative? What is the definition of it? It is the mindset and the action of jumping in and taking care of something without being asked to do so. So this means that, and probably for the majority of this video, we will use Gwarm as a great example, making sure that I pronounce that correctly. So the multi-headed Hydra-esque beast in Trial of Valor. So he's the second boss, and the way his mechanic works, or one of his major mechanics, is that at periodic times throughout the fight, he will breathe 3 different colors of fire. Whatever color you get at the beginning of the raid is the color that you need to stick with. And you want to split the raid group between these 3 colors, because the more people that are in it, the more the damage is shared across people that have that color. So if you don't set groups in the beginning and people aren't sure what colors they're going to follow throughout this raid encounter, it's an instant wipe. If you get, the fire, the red color, the very first breath, and you step in any of the other ones, you die. Instant death. So with that as our example, why is it important? Why do we need initiative? Why is initiative so important in a situation like this? Well, there's something that needs to be done. Interrupt rotation, fire, wailing souls for Gul'dan, etc. Again, we'll use the fire breath or the breath mechanic within Gwarm as the example that the groups need to be set, and they need to be set evenly every single week. It's not something that you can wing for the most part. It needs to be done. It's got to happen. Second thing is, it takes pressure off of your fellow leaders. If you have a raid leader that is, for me, for example, setting markers if we need them, setting maybe things like angry assignments, or Exorcist Raid Tools has a little angry assignments-esque notes field that you can push to players, and I'm checking your food buff and your flask and your gear, and I'm explaining things and answering questions, and I'm setting groups and this and that and the other. Why should I be doing all the work? I have 2 officers in my guild that support me. They can take on some of this responsibility, and they do a great job. But in this example, they can jump in and go, hey, I can see that you are answering questions, and we got a new guy that just joined last week, and he has never done this fight before in this hypothetical example. So while you're explaining the fight and going over the important mechanics behind it, the breath, I'm going to go ahead and set the group so you don't have to worry about it. That's initiative. And it also prevent small problems from becoming big problems. Setting groups before doing something like Gwarm and this breath attack isn't a big deal. It takes all of 10 seconds to do. And generally speaking, I do it while we're doing trash from Odin to Gwarm. But if I forget and nobody takes the initiative to jump in and go, hey, I got the groups, you go ahead and do this thing, well, now we've just wiped, or half the raid group in this hypothetical example has died because groups weren't set. They didn't know where they were going. They winged it. Everybody went into one color. 1 or 2 people went into the other one, and it just didn't work. So it makes small things prevented from becoming bigger issues. And probably besides all of that, it shows a very clear understanding of the environment. If you know, okay, every week groups need to be set, and I know that, the raid leader is normally the one that does it, but he hasn't done it yet, or maybe he's lagging behind, or something happened, or whatever. And you go, I'm going to cover for him. I got his back. Well, not only are you supporting me in this example, but it shows that you know what's going on and you see that something isn't being taken care of, that there isn't an interrupt order for the Dreadlord for Gul'dan, or their groups aren't set for the breath weapon, or whatever needs to happen isn't getting done. And you are willing and able, and you understand that it needs to happen, so you jump in and you take care of it. And that shows a very clear understanding of what needs to happen. So not only that, but I want to remind you guys as leaders that if you have non-leadership personnel, meaning, your normal everyday raiders that jump in and want to do this, they offer their help, they offer their assistance, don't freak out. I know I've seen from my personal experience as a raider, as someone who has watched other leaders, even in your everyday situation, your normal non-WoW experiences, where people freak out or get mad or get angry or get frustrated or annoyed or whatever you want to say, when someone who isn't a manager or a team lead or a guild leader, raid leader, etc., jumps in and goes, hey man, do you need help setting up the groups while you're doing all that? No man, I got it. Don't you worry about that shit. Well, I mean, if he's willing to take care of it and you have everything else on your plate, do it. Why not? It's one less thing you need to worry about. It doesn't put him in charge. If he understands the mechanics and he understands what's going on, it doesn't mean he's in charge. It just means he's helping you out. Now, with that being said, I would caution you, don't freak out, but don't let it get to a point where people are making calls. There's a difference between seeing that an interrupt order needs to be taken care of and as a non-raid leader calling a wipe. Sometimes I know we're going to wipe as a raid leader. I know we're going to wipe, but we have 10 seconds until this brand new mechanic or this mechanic that we're failing on is going to happen again, and we can get some practice in on it. We can get one or two more attempts in on dodging Alison's balls or orbs or whatever, when it first came out. And that's okay. So there is a difference. There is a line. And I would caution you as a raid leader, as a guild leader, as a leader in general, to not overreact when help is offered, but don't let it get so far as to people in non-leadership roles are making these decisions for you. So with all that being said, hopefully you guys like what I'm saying here. If you do, you guys know the deal. Hit that like, hit that sub button. Both those things encourage me a great deal to continue to make the content that you're seeing today. And until next time, guys, I'll see you.